Yo, what up, what up, what up? This is the Lazy Philosophers Podcast, and we are back in the building. So, guys, I am actually foregoing writing about a core question today because I woke up, and this is like me a minute after waking up, and I couldn't help but think about the exponential function. Not only just because people are talking about it constantly in media because of coronavirus, but also just because of TikTok. I am addicted to the app, and I have doubled my followers on TikTok in 4 days. And one of the things that I think is most interesting is that our growth, our acceleration in life actually follows the exponential function. That a lot of times, and I'm BSing right now. Like, I don't want any of you math whizzes being like, hey, well, dude, I'm just talking about in terms of like growth and development. That when you are embarking on something new, when you're embarking on a set activity that you are trying to get better at rapidly, that any time, with the exception of like working out, there's a few concepts that I think permeate, that do exist, but they exist in the tails of experiences. And what I mean by this is that they exist in very extreme. So one of them is overtraining. Overtraining, and it does exist, but most people who think they're overtraining are not actually overtraining. They're actually pretty far from overtraining. And this is a big issue that we have in our culture, not our culture, like maybe just the collective culture right now in the common space, the internet culture, is that we borrow specialized terms and we apply them to generalized situations. Meaning, like, for example, how everybody now has a personality disorder, or everybody has anxiety issues, or everybody has clinical ADHD. Everybody is I'm this, I'm that, and not saying that you're not exhibiting traits of that in a lower dose or at a lower threshold, but completely identifying with something that is a clinical thing, when that doesn't apply to your circumstance, it actually holds you back. And a lot of people lose a lot of momentum unnecessarily. Like, I have a lot of friends who are overweight who are constantly worried about overtraining. And the reality of it is most of them don't have the will to overtrain. To overtrain, it is actually a whole process of self-destruction, and it takes a long time, and it's actually common. It happens in like Olympic athletes, and them not even. If you look at like football players' workout regimens, those guys are working out 2 to 3 hours a day in the morning and 2 to 3 hours a day in the afternoon, very intense workouts. And they do not qualify for overtraining. You can work out every day and not overtrain. Now, it's not advisable to work out the same body part every day, but you can work out like 5-6 day a week splits and be very far away from completely overtraining. Now, how you manage your exhaustion, how you manage that with the rest of your life is something else. But to tie back to the initial thing I was speaking about, was that a few weeks ago, I started really taking TikTok seriously. And the reason I was taking TikTok seriously is it's very rare that there's an application that can basically make you famous with little to no effort on your part. Not little to no effort, but not that much effort. And most people who are seeing your stuff are organically seeing your stuff. And so it's kind of a meritocracy sort of an app. And I was posting every day and having nobody see any of my stuff. And but I understood this. I understood that people were seeing it, and I understood that I would eventually figure things out. And I knew that once I figured things out, that things would start happening a lot more rapidly. And that's what happened. So earlier this week, now these numbers are not going to sound impressive, but I want you to think about it in terms of percentages. I started this week with, I think, 77 followers. And then on Wednesday, I had 84 followers. Then I think on Thursday, I had like 100 followers. Then, or, I move everything back a day. And then I woke up, Thursday, and I had like 126 followers. And now I almost have 200 followers. And this is throughout this entire process, I'm posting 2 to 3 times a day. And the reason that I want to bring this up is that I thought about like, oh, did this even work for me? Does this even work? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to grow a following if I'm just adding one follower a day or sometimes none. This is the thing, is a lot of times we haven't done enough backlog of work to basically make the crossover into rapid growth. There's not that much separating us from the people in higher tiers in society. But what we have to do is act consistently and intensely and enough in the same direction in order to kind of break through these different plateaus. And there's a lot of narratives available to us, like, hey, take a break, or hey, don't burn out. But these terms, like, number one, they are real, but they're also misapplied. So my friends who are doctors, ER, especially with ER, they're working 110 hours a week, and they've been doing that for, like, especially my friends who are residents, like, years. And are they exhausted? Yes, but are they close to burning out? I don't think so. I mean, anything you can carry on for like years is pretty intense behavior. My friends who are lawyers who bill, 70, 80 hours a week, which means they're working 90 hours a week, still able to function. The whole concept of burnout is that we're using it too early. And so we have a lot of people who are applying a small modicum of effort, and then whenever they feel just not eager to work, or maybe there are some narratives available with them within their body that show that they are tired, they have evidence of fatigue, they equivocate fatigue with burning out. But if you always equivocate fatigue with burning out, then you're missing out on the real strength of the exponential function, which is that, and if you are a math person, just understand that I'm just taking the very loose idea of this. I don't want somebody coming at me in the comments, is that the more you try consistently and intensely in the same direction for a longer period of time, the more things will happen for you. And so the less you look up, the less you wonder whether or not you're burning out, and understand that burning out is, number one, relative. And honestly, until you're up to 100+ hours in a week of actual work, you're probably nowhere close to a burnout, like biologically or physiologically speaking. And of course, I'm not speaking about the gym in this, where the gym has different numbers, but you can work out every day. And this is probably not the most lucid podcast and like my most clear thoughts, but I do want to get this out, that if there's anything that you're working on, keep working. There is the difference between something feeling futile and being futile, right? Me posting on TikTok felt futile for the last month. I've been posting since January. I was like, I thought, I really thought I was never going to gain any traction. But that's different than it being futile. There are people who have literally had the careers of their dreams sparked because of this app and basically being able to cultivate a following. Most pursuits that we have will feel futile, but that is very much different than being futile. And if we try consistently and intensely for long enough, we might just have our career and our life change exponentially.